The Museum of Fine Arts Houston is hosting an exhibit that makes us look at the human condition in a whole new way.
This is an exhibit that surveys the work of Ron Mueck, an artist born in Australia, now working in England, and he does sculptures of extraordinary realism, but also takes them into an unreal or surreal dimension. We have 13 works of his on display here, which is approximately 1/3 of his career production since 1997. He's always interested in humanity. His works never caricature people. He looks at them in their most vulnerable moments, coming of age, at birth, or towards the end of life. And he himself is at the center of the exhibition with this self-portrait, which you see behind me. You see him asleep, and we like to sort of think about perhaps the whole show is his dreamscape. I would call the artwork generous. There are other people who do hyper-realist work, many who I admire, but they come off as one-liners. You know, oh, look at that, you know, Dwayne Hanson, that looks exactly like a guard in the gallery. With Mueck, he's always complicating the narrative. One way he does that is by making his sculptures either much larger than life or much smaller. Another way he does it is to, I think, treat each subject with great respect. The care with which he makes his sculpture is almost like a gesture of love. Typically, he spends more than a year on each work, from the first stages of modeling it in clay to, at the last stages, putting each hair in place on the face or across the head. Some figures you will see are carefully dressed, others are presented in the nude. But there's nothing salacious, there's nothing pornographic. What we see are, you know, when there's a nude, it's a newborn infant, or it's a man in a boat at the mid-stage of life. Our collections are filled with nudes, actually. We have the great Roman ruler in our lobby. And so I think the shock is the realism of the work, but the humanity, I think, is what comes through with the nudity. With the great man in a boat, that is actually in a large painting by Velázquez. The painting depicts the triumphant Madonna hovering over a nighttime landscape. In reproduction, it's almost impossible to see, but if you zero in and look very closely, there's an image of a man in the boat this large, and Mueck takes that as his point of departure for a much more poignant and overall composition. In quoting from the history of art, he's not only annexing himself to that story, but recognizing that these are stories we already know and that have a resonance in our own ideas, memories, and experiences.
Ron Mueck will be on display through August 13th. For more information, visit the museum's website at www.mfah.org. For Artbeat, I'm Stacee Hawkins.